All right, my goal today is to help you guys feel ready for your quiz on Monday. So we're going to go ahead and review over 10.1 through 10.4. First one, what word means equal measure? Congruent is correct. Okay, anything that you put in red today would be something great to add to your vocab cards. Next one, Katie. These are angles that share a common side and their sum is 180 degrees. Okay, let's think about this. We talked about a common side, just like I told you that wall right there is a common wall with the teacher next door. Adjacent, very good. So when you see common side, think about the common wall, and these are called adjacent angles. Angles that are opposite of each other and the measures are congruent. Vertical angles. Remember when we look at this, this kind of looks like vertical angles because they are opposite of each other. And this is the little visual. If you want to write this down, you can. Maybe that will help you to remember they are opposite of each other. So if this one right here happened to be 22 degrees, what would the other one be? 22. Also 22 degrees. Why? Because they are congruent, and that means they are equal in measure, so they'll be the same thing. Carlos, find the measure of angle 2. Tell me what something you know about angle 2. It is adjacent to 150. Okay, so that means that they share a common side, which means they share that straight angle right there. So what would angle 2 have to be? What do we know about a straight angle?
30.
Okay, 30 degrees. How do you know it's 30 degrees?
Because 150 plus 30 equals 180.
You are correct. If I was to add up 150 plus this angle, it would have to equal 180 degrees. So you simply take 180 minus 150, and it equals 30 degrees. Great job. Okay, is there any other way we could have figured out what angle 2 was? 150 plus 30, yeah, that's fine. Anything else?
180 minus 150.
Listen, does anybody remember what this one and that one are called? What are they called? What kind of angles? Corresponding angles. Do you guys remember that word? Listen, when you have two parallel lines, this one and this one, if I were to say this is at the top right of line A, what would be at the top right of line B?
Oh, yeah.
30. Those are corresponding angles because they're both on the top right of their line. Okay, so that's another way to know corresponding angles are going to equal each other. All right, so either one, you can figure it out that way. Let's go to the next one. Find the measure of angle 5. Landon, what is it? It's adjacent to what one? 5 is adjacent to what? Okay. Whenever they are adjacent to each other, what does that mean the total of these two is going to be? 180. So what does angle 5 have to be? 150. Okay, was there any other way he could have figured out that was 150 degrees, guys? How?
It's corresponding.
Corresponding. Look right here. Corresponding with that one, okay? Because remember, we've got parallel lines. If this one up here is line A and that's line B, what position is the 150 degrees in? Top what?
Top right.
Top left,
left.
Okay? And then angle 5 is also on the top left, so we know those have to be equal to each other. Let's go to the next one. Find angle 7. What do you think it is, guys?
33.
All right, you say it's 30 degrees. JD, how do you know that's 30 degrees?
It's vertical with 30 degrees.
You are correct. This right here is vertical, and we know vertical measures are equal in measure. Name these angles. Jakari, what do we call this first one that is less than 90 degrees? Acute is correct. Okay, when you think of something that's cute, it's something that's smaller. Alex, the next one on the right, which one is more than 90 degrees?
Right angle.
Not a right angle.
Wait.
We're doing number 8 on the right.
Oh, number 8. Obtuse.
Obtuse angle is correct. Okay, if you want to draw this picture in your notes, you can. Sometimes people enjoy having visuals. Michael, number 9, which one is exactly 90 degrees?
Me? Right.
A right angle. And the other Michael, what is exactly 180 degrees?
Straight.
A straight angle. This one is two angles whose sum is 90 degrees. What do you think, JD?
Complementary.
Complementary. All right, so you can see an example of it right here. This is obviously 90 degrees. When you add them together, 60 plus 30 is 90, so that's a complementary angle. Next one, Jakari, two angles whose sum is 180 degrees. Very good. Supplementary. Okay, once again, good vocab words to make little vocab cards out of to help you memorize and understand what each of these vocab words are. For the given angle measure, find the measure of a supplementary and of a complementary angle if possible. Okay, remind me again what we know about supplementary angles. They add up to 180 degrees. What do we know about complementary?
That it adds up to 90.
They add up to 90 degrees. So first one, Michael, help me out. What would the supplementary angle be if one of them is 25? How would I figure that out? Okay, we know it's going to add up to 180, so we're going to go ahead and subtract the angle that we know right there. And what would the other angle be? 155 is correct. Now remember, we're not finished because it has also asked us to find the complementary angle. Katie, what do complementary angles add up to?
90 degrees.
90. So how do I figure out this angle?
You would subtract 90 by 25.
And what do you get?
You would get 65 degrees.
All right, very good. So that's our supplementary and our complementary angles. So basically what it's saying for the supplementary one, you would have like a straight line. One of them is going to be 155, and it's just saying that the other one would be 25. Does that make sense? Then if you were to do the complementary one, you know it's going to add up to 90 degrees, so one of them will be 25 degrees and the other one would be 65. But you can see right there that those two add up to 90 degrees. Okay, let's go to the next one. JD, what would my supplementary angle be?
50 degrees.
Okay, how'd you figure that out?
30.
Good job. 150 minus 130.
And complementary is not possible
All right, why is it not possible?
because you can't have a negative degree.
You are correct. If you look at it, we know that it has to add up to, kind of like this picture right here, 90 degrees. But if this one is 130 degrees, it's already bigger than 90 degrees, so that is not even possible. Questions on that one? Okay. Still kind of going along with the idea of supplementary and complementary angles. Angle D and angle E are supplementary. If the measure of angle D is 46 degrees, find the measure of angle E. Alex, how would I find this?
You have to put 180. I don't know if I'm doing that. Equals D, which is 46 degrees. And then E.
Listen, you're making this much more complicated than it has to be. Here's the main idea. We know supplementary means 180. We know that one of them is already 46. So I just have to subtract the 46 from 180. Okay? What do we get? 134 degrees. Please make sure you put the degrees there, otherwise you will lose points for not labeling what it is. Okay, next one, Landon. Angle R and angle S are complementary. If the measure of angle S is 15 degrees, find the measure of angle R. Explain to me first, what does complementary mean?
2 angles whose sum is 90.
Good job. Two angles whose sum is 90 degrees. So how do I figure it out? If one of them's 15, how do I find the answer?
Subtract 15 from 90.
You are correct. What is 90 minus 15? 75 degrees. Great job. Okay, so the main thing is, as long as you understand what supplementary and complementary means, this kind of a problem should not be too difficult. Next up, find the measure of the third angle. So basically what I've got here is a triangle. One of them 60 degrees, the other one is 25.9 degrees. Let's review. What do we know about how many degrees are in a triangle? 180 degrees. So I know that's going to be the total, and I know one of the angles is 60 degrees, one of them is 25.9, and the other one is a mystery. So, can I do anything on the left side of my equal sign?
Yeah.
Nope.
Let me know.
Just drop it down. Can I do anything on the right? Yeah, so go ahead and add up the two things that you can add up. What do those two equal, guys? 85.9. And then we still got to add that x. How do I get x by itself?
You subtract.
Get rid of the 85.9 on both sides. And what is the third curve, or third angle? 94.1 degrees. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go ahead and add up the 60, the 25.9, and the 94.1. What should that equal? 180. So plug it into your calculator. This is just a good way to double check to see if it is correct or not. You might be off by a point or something like that, and then you'll know you need to go back and see where it is that you went wrong. When you added them up, what did you get? 180 degrees. Okay, great job. All right, these next 6 problems are once again going to be some vocab words that you're going to want to know and that you're going to want to study. You can add them to your vocab cards if you want. Some of them might already be in the vocab words we did here in class. Let's talk about this. What kind of a triangle has 3 acute angles? Acute triangle. Okay, this is actually a fairly simple answer. And here's why. In the question, it actually gives it away. What kind of a triangle, so I know it's going to be a triangle, has 3 acute angles? So you got to put that in. You're simply combining those two, and that will be your answer. It's called an acute triangle. Going to the next one. What kind of a triangle has 1 right angle?
Right triangle.
A right triangle. Good job. Once again, you just combined. We know we're looking for the name of a triangle, and it asks for a right angle. All it has to have is 1 right angle, and that becomes a right triangle. Last one. What kind of a triangle has 1 obtuse angle? An obtuse triangle. Okay, don't make it more difficult than it is. We're simply looking for the name of a triangle that has 1 angle that is bigger than 90 degrees. And that would be an obtuse triangle. Okay, once again, these are vocab terms you're going to want to know for your quiz on Monday. All right, here we go. Hopefully you guys got these as you looked through your notes. Number 19, what kind of a triangle has 3 congruent sides? Equilateral. Okay, help me out, guys. What does congruent mean?
All equal size.
Equal measures, okay? So equal, if all 3 are equal, it's going to be called an equilateral triangle. Next up, what kind of a triangle has at least 2 congruent sides?
Isosceles triangle.
An isosceles. Once again, there's no really clever way to remember that, so you just got to memorize that that's going to be called an isosceles triangle. Finally, this one has no congruent or no equal sides. What is that? Scalene triangle. Okay? How many of you guys got those correct? Excellent. All right, for this one, it asks us to find the value of x and y. I do not care which one you find first. Carlos wants to help us out with it. What should we do?
So you should add 89 and 45.
89 degrees and 45 degrees.
And get 134.
Okay, he got 134 degrees. What does that tell me?
Then you subtract 134 from 180.
Okay, so here, just to help us out, this whole thing we know it equals up to 180. So he's already figured out that those two are 134 combined together. So we're going to take the total amount, 180 degrees for the triangle, and subtract what those two are, which was 134 degrees, to give us what this x is. So what would it be, Carlos?
46
46
degrees.
Okay, so we know x equals 46 degrees. Now, if I know that this one right here, I'm going to get rid of that. If I know that this is 46 degrees, and I know that this is a straight angle, how can I figure out what y is?
180 minus 46.
Okay, we know a straight angle means 180 degrees minus what this angle is right here, which is 46. And Carlos, what'd you get?
134.
134 degrees.
Wait, isn't there shorter than that?
Now, what I want you to do is check to see, do those two add up to 180? Because if it is a straight angle right here, that should always add up to 180 degrees. Does it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Okay, someone else asked, is there an easier way to do that? Remember the trick I taught you. These two angles, which are opposite of y, are actually equal to y. So if you add up 45 plus 89, you should get 134, which is what the exterior or the outside angle is. Good job, Carlos. Thank you. Next one, pull out your red pen because this is another one of those vocab words that you're going to need to know for your test. Help me out with this one, Jakari. What is a figure with at least 3 sides called? A triangle has 3 sides, but I'm wondering any figure that has at least 3 sides. So it could be 4 sides, 5 sides, 10 sides. What are those figures called? Katie, can you help him?
Polygon.
A polygon. Okay, now a triangle, as you mentioned, it is an example of a polygon, but a polygon is anything that has at least 3 sides. We know some things about it. What kind of lines does a polygon have to have?
Straight.
It has to be straight lines. And it cannot have any what?
Curves.
No curves. Okay, so make sure you know that about a polygon. All right, anytime that I ask you for a polygon, inside of the shape, I want you to write how many sides it has. So first one, JD, how many sides does this polygon have?
3.
It has 3. Any kind of polygon, remember it's going to have straight lines. What would that be called, JD, if it only has 3 sides?
Oh, a triangle.
A triangle. Okay, next up, Asia, how many sides does our next figure have? 4. Now, there are many examples we've talked about, like a rectangle, a trapezoid, a rhombus. All of those have 4 sides. But what do we call name every 4-sided polygon?
A square.
No, that's not a square.
Quadrilateral.
A quadrilateral, okay? A square is an example of a quadrilateral. A rhombus is an example, but every 4-sided polygon is called a quadrilateral. Next one, Katie, how many sides does this one have?
This one has 5 sides.
And what's that called?
Pentagon.
A pentagon. Okay, this is something you guys could also put on vocab cards if you wanted to, because you're going to have to be able to identify. I'm simply going to say a 5-sided polygon, and you're going to have to write in the blank, pentagon, okay? Next one, Jakari, what do we call, or actually, how many sides does this one have? 6, and what's that called? A hexagon. Okay, it's easy for us to remember that because 6 has an X, and hexagon also has an X. Next one, Gabby, how many sides does that have? 7. Class, how many, or what do we call a polygon with 7 sides?
Hexagon.
Heptagon. The last one has how many sides?
8.
8, and what do we call that?
Octagon.
Octagon.
I was thinking.
Okay, once again, please memorize the names of those shapes. You're going to need to spell them correctly, so memorize them, study with your notes, make sure you've got the spelling in there correct. For this next one, we are simply going to try to figure out, is it a polygon, yes or no? Michael Nix, is the first one a polygon? No, why not? Because it has curves. Okay, so that is not a polygon if there's ever a curved line in it. Landon, next one. Is it a polygon, yes or no? Yes, it is. How many sides does that polygon have? 5. What do we call a 5-sided polygon? A pentagon. Okay, remember, always just try to stick the number inside that shape because it helps you to remember how to label them or what to call them. Next one, JD. Is it a polygon, yes or no? No, why not?
Curved lines.
It has curved lines. Okay, anything that has a curve is not a polygon. Next up, Asia. Is it a polygon? Why not? It has curved lines. Next one, Carlos. Is it a polygon? Yes, remember a polygon just means it's a figure or a shape. It's going to be some kind of a shape that has straight lines, okay? So how many lines does this one have? 7. Okay, so what's it called? Heptagon. Last one, Michael Sturdivant. Is it a polygon? Why not?
Wait, huh?
So what is it, yes or no? Yes, it is. How many lines does this one have?
It has 6.
6. So what do we call a 6-sided polygon?
Hexagon.
A hexagon. Okay? These are your notes that are going to help you review for your quiz. So please do not forget that you have a quiz on Monday. A lot of you really need to help yourselves by using those note cards. Study those vocab words. Spend a few minutes studying this weekend.